So without further ado, I'd love to get started with our interview. This driver comes to us from north of the border up in Canada, just outside of Winnipeg. He drives the number 5E. It is none other than Shane Edginton. Shane, how are you doing?
Good, good. We're just out in the shop, actually working on a modified right now for a guy to go race up in Morden this weekend. So we're working on that all night tonight.
Okay, nice. I mean, were you getting the itch to kind of get behind the wheel of that modified yourself?
I'd like to get behind a modified again. I haven't driven since I drove Blake Jetbags here actually a couple of years ago, but they're a fun class and we still play around with them. If guys need a hand scaling and stuff, they'll bring them by the shop here and we'll go through them and make sure they're going good.
Excellent. Well, for those of you tuning in, if you have a question at any point for Shane, feel free to drop in the comments below. If you just want to say hi, that is all right as well. As Jeremy Bloom from Wisconsin's checking in, so good to see you, Jeremy. So getting to know you a little bit, Shane. I was doing a little bit of sleuthing, but not a ton. But talk to us about how long you've been behind the wheel of a race car.
I've been around racing for about 18 years now. We raced go-karts and street stocks, modifieds, late models. So we came from the bottom and worked our way up to where we are now, and we've raced all sorts of different classes.
Okay, because I mean, obviously I've been familiar with you with the late model over the last several years, and I believe you had a number four for at least a year or two.
Yep, yeah, we were driving a car for Jake and Chanel Bitker back there in the performance auto car, and they wanted to switch the number up, and I said, yeah, sure, it's your guys' car. So we changed it up and we stuck with it for a couple of years, and then we went back to our family stuff, and we went back to our original 5E.
Interesting. Yeah, I was wondering why there was a subtle change, but makes sense. I remember seeing Performance Auto on the side of that car.
Yeah, they still help us out tons and really tight with Jake and Chanel. We just they help us out with all the parts and everything, and they run three great tracks, and thankfully we get to go race at a couple of them every year. So it's nice to get out to their track and support them.
Yeah, they've definitely been busy, especially with the addition of Cheyenne Speedway, which actually they have their last race of the season coming up tomorrow. Unfortunately, assuming you were planning on coming down to the Red River Valley Speedway this last weekend, but unfortunately, weather kind of wiped that all out.
Yeah, we were supposed to be there for 2 nights for the Howie Shill and an NLRA night, and all that rain and everything. And it's kind of nice when track promoters cancel the race before you get there. So, and they knew they were against a losing battle, so they called it early enough so we could people could go do other things and go other places and do other stuff. So it's nice when they know they don't got a track and they just cancel it early. That's kind of nice when promoters do that.
Yeah, I can kind of get a little bit more ideas on what you want to do. And of course, you've been probably go, go, go the entire summer. So this last weekend, I assume, was kind of a nice little breath of fresh air to kind of relax a little bit.
Yeah, it was nice. My parents were down in Grand Forks. We hung out with them a bit. I would have liked to race. I gotta say that I think I've been to more rainouts this year than I ever have in my career. It seems like everywhere we go, it's drive there and all of a sudden a cloud pops out of nowhere and rains us out. But that's just the way this year's been going, and it's part of it. And it's just you have those years.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's been several that I've been to where a cloud pops up. Actually, I think you and I were both down in Aberdeen when that happened.
Yeah, yeah, that was crazy. Like out of nowhere, it wasn't on the radar and just downpoured, and I was like, "This ain't gonna happen." And it's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, one of those years for sure. Hey, Brody. Carl's in the B1 IMCA stock car checking in. Hey, Brody. Glad to see you kicking as well. Jeremy's asking, what is your favorite track to race at?
I do like Grand Forks. It can be really good when it's nice and smooth and stuff. It's one of those fun tracks. I'm a big fan of Fergus Falls. Also, I love going there. It's wide and race is really good. I feel like it's one of those unique places where it's hard to get around, but if you can get around there, you're usually really good, and you can go other places and be good. My all-time favorite though is Cedar Lake. I just love going there. We don't get to go there much, but when we do get to go there, I feel like the track's awesome and it's wide and racy and it's a fun place.
Well, and speaking of Cedar Lake, if memory serves me correct, you won a race not too long ago there.
Yeah, we picked up a win on during the USA Nationals there on the Friday night portion. I think yeah, it was the Friday night portion, and Yeah, we got to do it back to back years. We won both the Friday night portions there. It's we've always seemed to run good there. We never really have too many bad nights, but it's a fun track, and they usually prepare it really well, and it's a good place. And the USA Nationals thing is cool. There's so many people there; it's insane. There's 10,000 people in the grandstands, and it's jam packed, and all the big guys are there. So it's kind of cool to win out in front of everybody.
Now, if I was forward thinking as I should have been, I probably could have stayed out there another few days because I think the Little Dream was a couple days before. So if like people are telling me, just stay out for the week and experience this USA Nationals because I've never been there before.
Yeah, it was cool, and I actually got to experience the Little Dream this year. I was staying at MB there for the week because we had Ryan Corbett's car there, and we went through it and got her tuned up and stuff. And me and Sam on Tuesday said, "Well, let's go check out the Little Dream. I've never been there," and so it was something I got to experience, and it was pretty cool to watch it. Actually, it's pretty crazy to see a street stock race for that much.
Oh man, it's crazy how they build that up and like exceed like the previous year's amount year after year. That just blows my mind how they do that.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's cool that you can just call in and donate money, and just how fast and big that pot grows. It's wild to see that it's $30,000 to win a street stock race. Like some of those guys won't win $30,000 in their whole career racing a street stock, and they're gonna win it in one night. It's really cool for them, and I said I was pumped to be there. Like it was just something I've never seen, and I was knocked off the bucket list. I guess you could say that I got to experience a Little Dream finally.
Yeah, so you mentioned both Grand Forks and Cedar Lake. Now, how do you kind of formulate your schedule? Is there a set like track that you follow, or a set series that you kind of follow, or is it kind of just pick and choose?
It's all pick and choose. We used to stick to series and tracks and stuff, and I kind of let my crew guys honestly decide where they want to go. Like I say, if you want to go do this, we're gonna miss out on this points deal, and sometimes they say, well, we have more fun there, and I said, you guys put all these hours into the cars and stuff, and work on it. So I said, I'll always go where you guys want to go. So they kind of make the schedule a bit, I guess you could say. So we try to race Grand Forks when we're in town, obviously, because Brad and all those guys over there and like to support that track. And it's a fun place. But yeah, at the end of the day, I kind of leave it into Max's hands. I said, if you want to go somewhere, let's go. And it's kind of up to him.
Well, and I think the late model class has really benefited from a lot of great races over the last couple of years, and there's so many new drivers coming into that class that they're just like there's more races popping up, and so it makes it almost tough to kind of decide, where should we go on a weekend.
Yeah, 100%. Like I always say, it's like everybody has their specials on the same weekend sometimes. It's like, God, I could be here, 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 or here because we're all racing for big money, and it's just it's like you got to pick and choose, I guess, and it's good to see. It's just like anything. You like to see the big purses happening. Like there was a 20 grand to win the other day in Ashland, which is huge. It's just for us, it was a little out of the way, and the crew guy couldn't get off work for the whole week deal, and we just stuck around home because we had a race around here, and so we just did that. But yeah, the money now it's getting bigger and bigger, and hopefully it continues to grow because everything else is raising in costs also. So it's you need these big purses to keep everybody coming and to make them travel too.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, there's so like this last weekend, I was trying to figure out where to go. There's like 4 or 5 different memorial races taking place, and it's like great. I can't go wrong no matter where I choose.
Yeah, exactly. They're all great races. Like we got rained out on Saturday from Fargo, and I jumped in the truck and we went to Fergus Falls just to watch it. I got to know the Gerke family really good the last couple of years, so I said, "Well, I want to go out there and watch this race." And it was a great night of racing. Don had a heck of a track, and the racing was fun. So I actually got to be a spectator for once, which was it was kind of nice.
Yeah, I suppose it's a little bit different being a spectator when you're used to being behind the wheel of a race car, but of course it probably helps that they're not racing your class.
Yeah, exactly. It was. I said I'm sick of sitting here watching it rain and being in wetness. I said I'm going to jump in the truck and I'm going over to Fergus Falls and we're going to go watch this Gerke deal and enjoy it. And it was a beautiful night and the track was awesome and the racing was really good. So I had a great time.
One, like a lot of the new faces that you see in the late models are like really getting acclimated quick. It seems like they're kind of running up towards the front like more and more, especially once they of course get a few races under the belt. Like, is it a tough transition going from like say a modified to a late model and getting used to that?
I don't think so. Like I watched Tyler Peterson there. He came from a modified to a late model, and the guy's been unreal the last 2 years. He's been in the class, and he's uh he's the top guy pretty much. And you watch like Tucker Peterson. He came right from a street stock to a late model, and he picked up a win this year in Devil's Lake. And I think it's a lot to do with who you have helping you, who can watch your car. Like Tucker's obviously got his dad Joey. He's been around forever. He knows what he's looking at. Tyler's got his dad Matt. He's been around forever and a very smart dude. And they all know what they're looking for and can set up their cars for each person. So yeah, you see these guys come in, and I'm not surprised when they're running good. It's they all got good equipment nowadays. You look at Sabraski. He's probably one of the best drivers to ever come out of Wissota. Honestly, the guy's won everything and anything, and God, he has a heart attack one week, and he's winning $20,000 win races the next week. Like he is the Iron Man.
Yeah, it's crazy because like it seems like every other week there's like a new first time winner in like the late models or something. It's like, wow, man, I need the competition is just getting more and more stiff.
Oh, it's nuts. The competition now is when I first got in this class, there's nothing like it is. Even 5 years ago, it wasn't like it is now. You don't know who's going to win on a given night. Right now, Dustin Strand is unreal. He's been winning every night, it seems like, but you never know what's going to happen when special season comes around. You could have somebody get hot, and somebody out of the blue that you've never heard of might start winning races. It just it seems like everybody wants to race late models nowadays, and that's why the car counts are so high. And it's good for our sport. Like it makes us look good around here. Like Grand Forks, I think they average 24 cars a night. It's on a regular night. We got 24 late models there, which is crazy to think, but it's it's good to see the class grow. It's good to see.
Well, and especially when you think of a track like River Cities, and you mentioned that you have pretty much 20 to 25 cars at least on a given night. Is that a tough place to kind of maneuver when you get that many cars on the track, especially when you may hit lap traffic within 5 or 6 laps?
It is. It's definitely a challenging place, and you're up on the wheel the whole time. Um, if they got the track good and wide, and which they usually do, it can be it's fun. It's awesome. You can come from ninth and 10th and get up to the top three, no problem. It definitely makes for a fun race, that's for sure. And the lap traffic, I love lap traffic. I'm a big lap traffic guy. I think it makes the race better personally because you got to make your car maneuver around everything. You got to be able to run the top, the bottom, the middle. You got to be able to do everything. And I enjoy that part of it. So that's one fun part about River City is getting to that lap traffic.
Yeah, a lot of people say that late model races like are good, but then they get real good when lap traffic comes into play, especially if it's a small track.
100%. We are one lane dominant when we're just in clean air. I can tell you that right now. It's hard to find guys. Not even that they won't move around, but it just our lanes clean off so fast because we're such a big car and the tire and everything. We'll just clean off a lane so fast, and that's the fast lane, and everybody kind of sticks to it. So anytime we can get into lap traffic, it definitely makes the race better.
Yeah, and that's like you said, it's not a slight on the cars or the tracks at all. Just like with how quick you're going, it's just easy to kind of click off the laps.
Yep, 100%. We'll just clean off one line, and everybody will stick to it, and it's just the nature of the beast. But it's nice once we get into that lap traffic.
What would you say is one of the trickiest tracks to kind of get a handle on outside of like River City Speedway that you kind of go to?
For me, it would be Ada. It's one track I've never won it, and I struggle there all the time. That and Superior. Superior to me is a tough track. I don't know why. I think it just throws me for a loop all the time. But those are probably the two of my tracks that I'm not very good at, and I know I'm not very good at them.
Well, I know Ada doesn't have a ton of banking, so it's hard to kind of get going around other cars. I haven't been to Superior. Is that pretty low bank, or is it kind of in the middle?
It's low bank too, and it's long straightaways and tight corners, and it can get very, very slippery there, like insanely slippery. And it's that red dirt, and it's just. And I haven't been there a lot to get to know the place, but I've been there a handful of times, and I seem to really struggle there.
I mean, everyone has their places where they kind of like get a knack for, and then some it's just like, yeah, if we don't have to go back there, that's okay by me.
100%, yeah. Like there's those places that it's just like I just don't need to be back here. But on the other hand, though, it's one of those things. It's like I got to figure it out, got to figure it out. Which that's the fun part of this sport is trying to figure out these different tracks and figure out what makes it work there. So it's a double edged sword. There's goods and bads of everything.
Well, and of course, one of the big events coming up this weekend is the King of the Corn up at Dead Horse Creek, and I believe do they have late models on the schedule there?
Yep, yeah, we'll be there Saturday and Sunday. They got us there, so we'll be back there for Saturday and Sunday.
I tried to go up there in July, I think, or on the 4th. Unfortunately, Mother Nature kind of wiped that out. But they've been doing a lot of great work there. I'm curious, what is the track like up there?
It's a fun track. It's the community is really behind it, and they got some good people involved in it, and I enjoy going there. It's a lot of people I know and help out and stuff, and it's a nice. I was gonna say it's a little bit bigger than Grand Forks, but probably higher banked, and it's wider, and it's a great place. They got Chris and Ryan and all those guys that are there. They've been working like crazy. They got signboards up and they got live timing up on the wall now, and it's every time you go there, it's like holy smokes, the place looks like a new track again because they just keep doing so much work. So it's good to see, and it's cool to have another track in Canada to race at or Manitoba, and it's a fun place to go support.
Yeah, and when you say that's more, well, obviously they've cut down the banking in river cities, but when you say it's more banked than river cities, I'm like, ooh, that's saying something.
Yeah, they cut Grand Forks down a lot, which kind of sucks because I think it hurt that place a little bit, but it still races good. But yeah, it's got some banking in it. When you stand up at the top of that corner, it's like yeah, it's a long ways down. So it's definitely got some bank.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to make it up unfortunately this year, but definitely in future years, I definitely want to check out that place because, yeah, like you said, they've done a lot of good work there.
Yeah, you'll have to get up here this week. They got live bands there, and they got the big cookout they do. They cook food for all the drivers and everything. So it's a cool deal. They really give back, and they want everybody to help out and support them, and they get lots of cars and drivers because of that.
That's always good, especially when they make kind of like a nice big weekend out of it.
Yeah, they definitely make an event of it. So it's not just the racing; it's the bands and the cookouts and hanging out with everybody after the races. And they set up big tents and everything. So it's a cool deal.
I want to say I had a few people watching, including Camden Kellison, Melanie Flagel, and Brenner Grinstead. Thank you guys for watching and checking us out. Got another question here from Jeremy, but wanted to give you an opportunity to list off the sponsors and the crew that kind of helps the 5E machine.
Oh, I gotta thank SNS Transport, Brad and BJ, and those guys. They give me a place to work out of and just help me out in general. I got Polymer Shapes, General Signs, Performance Auto, Conley Signs, and Cousins Oils, and Adams Automotive, who makes a heck of a motor for me, and all the boys at MB Custom for giving me a good chassis and car to work on.
Yeah, you got to have some really good people backing you, some really good equipment to be as competitive as you are in getting the wins throughout the summer.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody helps out and makes you need everybody to make it work. I can tell you that. It's nice to have a phone to pick up and call AJ or Jimmy or Chris if you got a question, and they're always there to answer. So that helps out a lot.
Well, Jeremy's asking, do you have a favorite track food at all?
Probably the brisket at Grand Forks. It's pretty unreal. It's pretty good food. The brisket at Grand Forks. It's pretty good.
I don't think I've had the brisket there. Huh.
Yeah, you got to try it. It's really good.
Usually, my default, if I eat anything in Grand Forks, is a taco in a bucket.
Oh yeah, they got the taco in a bucket there. Yeah, it's not bad, but you got to try the brisket. It's pretty good.
Well, I mean, we got the Sites Memorial coming up in a couple weeks, so probably have plenty
Yeah,
of opportunity.
you'll definitely have to try it out there then for sure.
Well, speaking of, that was a pretty big race for you last year. Kind of talk to us about that whole race weekend for you.
Yeah, that was an unreal deal. Like to win that deal, that's something we've been chasing for a long time, and we've been really close to for a couple of years. We've led that thing a lot and been up there, and just never put everything together. And this year, it just all fell in place, and we were able to pick up the win, and we had a really good weekend. We ran second at the Prelude deal, and I got out of the car and I said to AJ, I said, "This is what I need to do," and we started drilling holes and 4-bar plates, and said, "Let's put these here." And I went out and I never changed a thing, and the car worked great the rest of the weekend, and yeah, we were able to pick up the win.
That's got to be kind of a tough race to kind of game plan for, just because like it's not such a long race, 92 laps. The track is usually pretty heavy for the first 20 to 30, and then you kind of got to set up for like the last 30 itself. So, do you have like a set game plan going in on how you have to mentally prepare for such a race like that?
Well, I've led that thing to the halfway point or the fuel stop or whatever you want to call it, I think 3 times or 2 times or something, and we always could lead till then, and then we'd fall off. And I just set my car up a little different this time, and I just you get comfortable in the car. I knew I was good right from the start because I wasn't as good as I usually am. So I'm like, hey, we're good there. So I know I'll have a car at the end, and it's just about saving your tires. Honestly, it's what it comes down to. You can save your tires and be able to move around. That's the other thing. You got to be able to move around, and lap traffic comes into a huge deal with that race because it's you got to be able to get around lap cars in that race, and it makes it tough sometimes. Sometimes they're 3 wide, and it's you got to be patient. So sometimes you just got to sit back, and if whoever's ahead of you or somebody's coming, it's just it's either you wreck something or you let them go and wait till later on in the race. And I feel like I've finally figured out that I said I've wrecked cars there leading, pushed the object too much and did something dumb, and but I think we finally figured out a good balance that we can last all 92 laps now.
Well, and of course, like I think too, like especially if you're not leading the first 20 or 30 laps, because like the laps go by so quick, it's like you don't want to fall too far behind, because then you get caught in potentially being the lap traffic in a sense.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to go a lap down. That's the main goal for the first probably 40 laps is just don't go a lap down. And then after that, the track kind of comes in and you can race all over it, and then you can start making your moves. And but yeah, I always say the most stressful part of that whole weekend is the heat races. You just want to be able to get in the show, and if you can get in that full dash deal, you're set up for a good night. And fortunately, we've been able to do that the last couple of years, and it definitely helps you. It takes a lot of stress off you. Then the next day, you can just kind of chill out and just okay. We just got to set up the car for a 92 lap feature. We ain't racing B mains. We're not racing last chances. We're just going to concentrate on the feature now, and then we'll go from there.
Does fatigue at all set in during that race, or is it kind of like when you're saving your equipment, kind of like saving yourself a little bit too?
It's honestly not that bad. I don't get tired during it or nothing, and thank God it's not 100 degrees out. I guess you could say because you might get a little hotter then. It's in September, so it's a little cooler out. But yeah, no, I don't ever get tired or anything like that. It's just you kind of get in a relax mode. Honestly, when you're driving around there, it's everything slows down, and I think your heartbeat comes down. Honestly, and you just kind of concentrate, and you're good to go.
Excellent. Yeah, that's it. That's interesting. Interesting to know. So kind of know what to look for when watching the stands this year, because I actually will be there for all 3 nights. Unlike last year, where I missed the Saturday portion, which is silly.
Yeah, you don't want to. That's the main night. You don't want to miss that one.
Well, thankfully, no one's getting married that I know on that Saturday this year. So,
There you go. You're good to go.
yep. Well, as far as the year-end schedule, obviously the Sites Memorial is probably big on your list of scheduled events for the rest of the year. But what else is on the schedule as you close the year out?
We'll do the Wissota 100. We'll do that 2 day deal in Fergus. I think they got going on there, and then probably Fall Classic and Topless, and then that'll be it for us.
That's a lot of,
So it's coming to an end.
yeah, that's a lot of big races, and it's like, yeah, it may only be a handful, but it's just like it's like one weekend after another is another big race, and it's just like, man, you could really make the early fall go by super quick.
Yeah, definitely. You can go hard if you really want to. We got our kind of couple picked out there, so we're gonna go do those. And yeah, and that'll be our year. And we started off the year in Arizona, so it's been a long year.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's I forget that you get actually go outside down to Arizona, down south, and get some racing in. So he's one of the guys, Larry's fans to kind of follow down there because now it seems like there's a big contingent of drivers that go south for that week.
Yeah, it was the first time we've done it in years and years. So I decided to go down there, and it was fun. And the weather kind of sucked because it rained on our off days and stuff. But it was it was a good week, and we had fun, and didn't have the best of luck, but that's the way it goes.
Yep. Jeremy's asking if you know Sam Mars. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you've raced a lot against Sam
Yeah,
Mars. He's probably been winning a little bit more than you probably want too.
yeah. No, me and Sam. I've known Sam for the last couple of years here. He's a good kid, and he's yeah. We just spent a week out there at Mars Brothers, so me and him hung out a lot. So yeah, it was fun.
Excellent. Well, appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Sites Memorials. Probably the next time I'll see you in person. And so definitely will be stopping by the pits and saying hi, and hopefully going to back at the Sites Memorial this year.
Yeah, let's hope so. That'd be a cool deal to do. So I hope I can bring the trophy back home to Canada here, and we'll see how it goes though.
Yeah, it seems like Canada's got a good record at that race.
Yeah, we got a couple, that's for sure. So between me, Ricky, and Aaron, it's we've had a pretty good record so far.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and everyone that is tuning in after the fact. Thank you as well. Be sure if you want to follow Shane Edginton Racing on Facebook is where you can follow him. If not, go to one of the year-end specials this year, and I'm sure you'll see the 5E roll through the pit gates. And so, thank you, Shane, once again, and hopefully see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on. I hope everybody has a good rest of the year.
Awesome. Thanks again, everyone.